In the early days of my recovery, if you told me that I had to eat, it was almost a given that I was not going to eat. I didn't know this at the time, but after a lot of therapy, I now know that I was living in a state of fear. I felt constantly under threat. I lived under the threat of other people's opinions for years. What did they think of me? Who did they think I was? Was I cool? Did they think I was ugly? Did they think I had horrible style? Did they think I was annoying? The list goes on. Too loud was a very big one. I do believe that eating disorders are usually a perfect storm. There's a bunch of different factors that cause someone to have an eating disorder. However, I think this was a huge one. I think anorexia for me was born out of a place of trying to control people's perceptions of me. I was disciplined. I was just dealing with the disorder. I was more mute and I was just too fatigued to actually have a personality. I just desperately wanted to be accepted. I think for a lot of people who suffer with an eating disorder, that's the case. It's very human to want to be accepted. That's what keeps us safe. So when someone told me to eat, and I had to eat, that it wasn't a choice, my plate had to be clean, that felt like a threat, because they were also threatening the control I had over other people's perceptions. And innately, when you feel under threat, you go into fight or flight. That's a very human response, and the one that came out when my eating disorder was being threatened. People were trying to help, and I would just either fly, leave the house, like just go literally anywhere but home, or I'd fight. You can imagine that home was not a very pleasant place to be. If you're trying to help someone with an eating disorder, you're probably sat here like, well, what the hell can I do then? Because they're not going to recover unless someone tells them that they have to recover. What helped me the most was when I started to empower myself and my parents encouraged. I talked about it in a previous video, but taking responsibility for my own recovery, super important. Realizing I was the only person that was going to get my life back. No one else was going to beat anorexia for me. Same with all eating disorders. No one else can do it for you. I absolutely had not always thought like that. My parents were in a desperate place, so they were trying to do it for me. But that resulted in so many arguments, so many fights. You can't force someone to recover. They have to want to recover. But you can continually encourage and offer perspective. Give them reasons as to why recovery is so important. Forcing someone and bribing someone to eat is probably not going to result in very resilient recovery. They might end up looking better from the outside, but they won't be better from the inside. And this is what counts, not this. The point of this is that no, I wasn't in control when I had an eating disorder. I wasn't in control when my parents were forcing me to eat. I was in control when I was trying to get better. I was in control was when I was getting better, doing the right recovery thing. That's when I actually was in control. You aren't in control with an eating disorder. It's determining your everyday. You're not in control when your parents are forcing you to eat. Yes, I don't control other people's perceptions anymore. I show up completely authentically as me. I had to learn to give up that control in order to get my life back, and I'm totally okay with that. I have enough self-assurity now not to worry about other people's opinions so much, and I don't feel like my parents or friends or anyone else is trying to take control of my life. When someone's controlling you, you do tend to end up resenting them. That's what happened with my parents. So when I started recovering, not only did I get rid of the eating disorder, but I no longer resented my parents anymore. So it was a win-win situation. I don't know how much sense this makes, but I think that's why when people tell you to just eat, get on with it, finish the plate, we're not moving until it's done, it ends up in a very big clash. At least it did for me. Basically, when you figure out that you're the only person that can do it, it is pretty empowering. Every single time you do the right recovery thing and you finally frame that eating disorder as a bully, not a best friend, you start to gain strength and you'll clash less with your parents, and home will be a much happier place.